60 time now for our 360 round. We're taking a look at Palantir ahead of earnings. Those are due after the close today. For that, I want to bring in our panel. We've got Rob Luna, founder of the Lunatic Investor, and Shana Sissel, founder and CEO of Palantir Capital Management. Thank you both so much for joining us today. Shana, I want to start out with you. These are the consensus views for expectations. Adjusted EPS expected to come in at 13 cents a share for Palantir. Revenues expected to top 862 million. Does your view on it line up with those expectations?
I can't say I necessarily have a view, and also want to say hi to Rob. I haven't seen him in a while. I can't say it necessarily lines up with that. I would expect that based on its competitors' earnings, that it will probably surprise on the upside, which is what we've seen many of its competitors do that have already reported. What they're doing in the AI space in terms of implementing AI and major government war fighting, things of that nature. The contract they just signed with NATO shows that they have very sticky revenue. But I'm much more interested in what the executives have to say in terms of their forward outlook, because that is where I'm going to get a little more color on how the slowing economy, how the scrutiny on government spending and things of that nature are affecting their outlook, because what we're going to get today is what happened in the past.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. And obviously, especially this earnings period, not that guidance matters every cycle, but, you know, particular this cycle, because if you can guide in a murky environment, that's very important. Rob, I'm curious to know what your expectation is for today.
Well, I mean, look, they've got a track record of beating earnings. I don't think this quarter is going to be any different, especially when you take a look at what's going on with DOGE. They're lifting some of these departments completely out of the government. We all know the reason Palantir is in the position they've had is they had those early government contracts, which allowed them to fund R&D, get way ahead of their competitors, build this moat. And it's just really kind of the perfect storm for them to get more government contracts. The private sector is looking to get more efficient, leaner. They're looking to make more use of the data that they have. And Palantir's created this ontology network for them to go out and execute. So when you look at it, you were just talking about CrowdStrike prior to this. There's not very many companies that are positioned better for this type of environment than we're seeing right now from Palantir. The question is, though, to Shana's point, where do we go from here? What does the future look like? Because this stock has had a huge run year to date. It's defied all odds. So I think the expectations are going to be pretty high. You know, if I was looking at this right now and I didn't have a position, I'd be hoping for a pullback because I think the future looks, you know, a lot brighter. But relative strength, the stock looks very overbought. So in my view, they're going to have to come out and say something really positive to get the stock much higher.
No, listen, Rob makes a great point, Shana, and I think you're especially like alluding to this. I mean, the stock is up more than 60% year to date. On a year-over-year basis, up nearly 400%. It's grown in market cap to, what is it, nearly 300 billion now. Like, what justifies it going higher from here? They do have, obviously, the strong government foothold, and there's questions about, you know, are the changes happening within DOGE beneficial to Palantir, or will it hurt Palantir? What are you expecting to hear on that front, especially what relates to its government business?
I think that overall, this is an area that the government is very much focused on and being a leader in. So I don't think DOGE is affecting it that much right now, but I do agree with the fact that the government contracts have given them the moat, but the future growth of the company lies in the commercial business. They really need to find ways to translate the government contracts and the government success into the commercial markets. Now, the good news is companies are spending money. The one thing they are willing to spend money in an uncertain economic environment is AI. And more companies have to prove that they can monetize any AI solutions they're putting into the market. So the commercial market is really ripe for the types of products and solutions that Palantir offers. But we really want to see that be an area of focus and an area of growth, because if the stock is going to go higher, the thing that's going to justify that is going to be the commercial drivers to their earnings.
That makes sense, Shana. And we have seen like the growth trajectory be faster with commercial, although in the past, government has accounted for a larger, you know, to Shana's point, the moat when it comes to Palantir. Rob, what are you expecting on the commercial front? Really quickly, final thought.
Yeah, to Shana's point, that's exactly where the growth has to be. And I think one of the other things is on the commercial side, are they just these one-off projects that Palantir is getting this huge front-ended revenue for? Are these going to be ongoing, continual projects? So not only are we going to look at the transition into some of these commercial products, but what's the sustainability long term? Because as you know, that's what the market's looking at. Is this one-off revenue, or is this something we can count on going forward and increasing from there?
That's a good question. Right now, shares of Palantir actually fighting back under slight pressure right now ahead of earnings after the bell today. Our thanks to both of our panelists today. We've got Shana Sissel, Von Rand Capital Management, and Rob Luna, CEO of Luna Venture Partners. Thank you both.